What's going on, guys? It's your boy Mike from Seattle, and hopefully the contrast isn't too bad and you can see the skyscrapers behind me and see me. Anyways, I want to tell you about what I discovered when I finally went out and saw my properties for the first time ever. So for those of you who know, I have 4 different properties in Gary that I manage from Seattle. I never seen them before until today, or yesterday I guess, when I was out in the area driving around looking at them for the first time ever. Now I didn't tell my property manager I was coming, not because I'm trying to lie to her, but I just didn't want her to give people a heads up, to clean it up before I got there. I want to see what it's actually looking like with the people who are living there and the care that she takes of the properties as a secret shopper coming in to see what it looks like. So I found a few things. I looked at one of my properties. I see a gutter that's hanging that goes from the gutters at the top of the roof down to the ground. It's kind of just swinging back and forth. It's been broken off. Nothing too major, not any damage that's too big.
You can see right here, maybe the window's busted out, or maybe it's just got that wood in there to take care of the air conditioner. Garage roof looks pretty good. Rear roof of the house looks pretty good.
I went and took a look at another one of the houses I bought, the one that I seller financed and I got for $34,000. That one has some siding issues. The siding's coming off, so I definitely want to get that fixed before that turns into a bigger problem.
You can see that the siding is having some issues right there. And yeah, I'm going to need to get that replaced before that becomes a major issue. Other than that, the house doesn't look terrible from what I can see from the exterior, at least.
All in all, I didn't go up and knock, I didn't bother the tenants, I just drove around, took some pictures, took some video. Overall, they don't look like they're being held in any disrepair. I went and looked at my favorite property, the one my real estate agent, Kenzie, helped me find. And out of the neighborhoods I looked at there, that was actually the best neighborhood. There weren't any burnt out houses across the street, kitty corner from my property, or directly next door.
Nice roof, looks good to me. Looks like it's been kept in pretty good condition. I really like brick houses. There's no siding issues with brick houses typically. Fence looks good, yard looks good. This is actually my favorite tenant right here. They pay everything way in advance. I'm a fan, I think it looks great. And then to the left, to the right, no burnt out houses. Across the street, no burnt out houses. This is actually the one that I bought my real estate agent, who I think did the best job of scouting the neighborhood for me. So shout out to Kenzie for being fantastic. This looks good.
Now, for those of you who think, hey, I want to invest out of state. I want to invest out of state. The numbers make sense. Birmingham, Alabama, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Gary, Indiana. Wow, these numbers are so great. It's so cheap out here. You're right. You're very right, it's cheap. But as Michael Zuber says, and as my new friend Dominic says, you can go broke buying cheap. You can buy something that's a problem. And I encourage you to watch the videos of me interviewing Dominic, because he is an expert, a multi-millionaire guy with 50+ rentals. And when we would walk into a property, I would look at this thing and say, this thing is going to be condemned for sure. And he would say, actually $5,000 and we could fix this entire thing up. It's going to triple its value, and I'm going to rent it for the 3% rule instead of the 1% rule. And I was just amazed at the skill he has in so quickly analyzing a property and coming up with its true value that, to me, an out-of-state investor would completely miss. Meanwhile, other out-of-state investors may be looking at just Realtor.com or the MLS, because that's all we have access to, and thinking to ourselves, hey, this deal's been around for 30 days. Maybe I can make it work. Well, if it's been there for 30 days, Dominic and anyone like him has already looked at that deal and decided that ain't happening. You hear the fire truck down there? Probably. Oh, hopefully it's not too loud in the background. I don't know. I mean, I'm in Chicago. It's busy. People are honking and yelling at each other, and I'm 18 floors up right now, but clearly it's still loud. So I apologize if it's in the background. If you think that you're going to be able to swing a deal and make it work just because you got big money bags from Seattle or California or New York, wherever you might be from, think twice. The importance of having knowledge and experience about the market, the neighborhoods, the houses across the street that are all burnt out, the problems that are commonly associated with houses being built at this time. People like Dominic took 20+ years to build that knowledge. You and I, we can't hope to compete with him. We don't even live in the same area. We have no idea what's going on. This is why it's so important to have a good property manager, as I always talk about, a good real estate agent who's not afraid to give you bad info, like, hey, this house sucks, and most important, the number one thing that I never hear anyone else talk about, I think it's important to have other investors in the area you can network with and be friends with, that you can run ideas past, that you can chat with and bounce ideas off of, so that they can tell you, no, you don't want this neighborhood, you don't want that house, there's too many gangs in the area, it's not a good neighborhood, the city's screwing up with the water system in that neighborhood, things that you can't possibly hope to know because you live 2,000 miles away. You have to have someone in your court on your side who's helping you out. So my advice to you, if you are going to invest from afar, like I am in Gary, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But what's kept me insulated from buying anything too bad is a great real estate agent, other investors, and a good property manager. If you don't have those yet, you absolutely need to drive to the area, because driving through Gary, Indiana for the first time ever, and I grew up very poor, and I've lived in very poor parts of Tacoma, which is the not nice part of the Seattle area, is nothing compared to what it was like in Gary. I mean, I would drive down a block where there's 9 houses, and 4 of them are burnt out, condemned, graffitied, just destroyed. 1 regular house, 1 other house that's a rental, not rented by a regular person, and then 2 more houses that are just vacant and empty and like boarded up. And this was every single block. I drove down the main stretch of highway through town. I think it was called Broadway Street. And when I think of Broadway Street, I think of the Highway 99 in Washington, where there's businesses on either side and it's booming, and there's car washes and nail salons and teriyaki places, and I mean every business that you could think of through the main highway of your town. That's not a freeway, just a main highway. And every single business was shut down. I mean, it was just wild. I would go for blocks and there would be a gas station is the only thing that's open. And I'm trying to find a bathroom to use, and I go to the Burger King, understaffed, they can't get enough people to work. I go to McDonald's, understaffed, can't get enough people to work. Hey, look, a Dunkin' Donuts, I've never even been there before. We only have Starbucks in Seattle. Go try to open up the door, understaffed, they can't get anybody to work. I'm like, what the flip is going on in this place? Holy smokes. So you need to know your community. Not necessarily before you invest, but I definitely would want to do my best to do my homework and get there eventually so you can make smart decisions. After this trip, it's not that I'm against buying in Gary, but I'm going to be very specific of what neighborhoods I actually think about purchasing in, and I'm going to try to move to the fringes of Gary that border other better cities, like the one I just put an offer on. So guys, hopefully this video is beneficial. Appreciate you always keeping track of me and the channel, and again, I really hope the sound worked, and we'll see you next time.